Sorry, my camera Friday morning doesn't want to stay awake. I'm gonna come back here and do some painting. Anyway, as I was saying in my last video, before my camera just sometimes it shuts off by itself, right? That the photographer, that was taking my friend's wedding photos years ago. I was there, and it was around the time I had bought my Nikon D100, and I compared my photos to his, and my photos were sharper and cleaner, but his shots were better because he was the main photographer, and he got I couldn't get in his way, right? So obviously he took the photos from the best vantage point, and I just kind of like got the best that I could. But if you were to compare the quality of the photo, yeah, my camera was a little better. But on average at the time, like if you would have bought like the D100 was a great camera, what I call one of the first real professional digital cameras, right? It was of that, for like where they finally got it down, like, yeah, this digital thing is actually going to be something. There's that guy again. He's not in the middle of the road like he was the last time. Anyway, long story short, if you bought an F100 or the F1 at the what they were up at. F3 or F4 was the camera film. No, it was the F1. Still out far, especially when you see traffic coming that way. People can't go over like that, right? So that guy pisses me off a little bit. Sometimes he's like right in the center when there's traffic coming. He's gonna get killed, I'm not gonna cry for him. Anyway, that's my griping and whining for the day. Yeah, but getting back to, the film cameras at the time were still sharper on, like the pro film cameras were still better than the digital at the time. But now, I think Nikon still sells the F6, which is it's basically a novelty camera. It's a $6,000 or $8,000 film camera, right? Because Nikon just wanted to see, okay, you know what? We're going to build the best film camera that ever existed, and that'll be our legacy to film cameras. So you can still buy them, and I'd love to have one, but it's just like, for that money, right? Like if I ever found one for like $50, yeah, sure, I'm buying it. Even if it doesn't work, I'll just put it on my wall, because it's a cool camera. But yeah, I like film, but I could never afford to shoot film, you know what I mean? And now you can shoot film, but there's like a digital cartridge you can put in there. And I'm like, vehicle sounds. We'll call it. We'll just leave it at that. It's like your mics are not good. No, the mics are fine. They're picking up everything. They're picking up the wheel bearings. They're picking up the loud exhaust. They're picking up. They're picking up everything. The only thing I don't like about the GoPros is the mics from the back to the front flip. When you got the front mics on, it seems like they're nice and clear, but when you got the back, it sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher, right? Charlie Brown's a pretty good teacher, as Andrew Dice Clay would say. So yeah, I do. And the GoPros haven't got to the point where when you want to put a mic on it or a Bluetooth or whatever, like you can't. You have to buy that little box, which kind of defeats the purpose of buying a compact camera if you're going to make it huge, right? You know, they can't seem to get whatever it is they need in there, right? So until they do that. Steven, that's what it is. Until they do that, it's like, you know, there's not much you can do. But I do want to get, you know, my next camera. I want it to be something that, you know, like the cell phones are really a no-brainer. So I got to get me one of those. But I want one that I can use the external mic and stuff like that, so you're going to hear me better, and you know, break my world record of world's most crappy audio and whatever. Like, I'm amazed I have any subscribers. You know, it's like, this guy's channel really sucks. But it comes down to, you know, like I was saying about the other photographer. It's not so much the quality of the picture, but the composure of the picture. Well, I guess for me it's the content, right? Because I put out nothing but prime content. Ish. Anyway, I'm gonna go get my provisions, and then yeah, I'm gonna go get some painting done today. Hopefully it stays nice and cool like it did yesterday. Sun's out, so it might get a little bit warm, but as long as it's not as deathly hot as what it was. Anyway, there we go.